Hey fellas, am I the asshole for announcing my pregnancy on Christmas? Let's enjoy the story. I am a 26-year-old woman and I recently found out that I am pregnant. It is still very early, and at the time, I had not told my partner yet. He is 28. I thought it would be adorable if I wrapped up a vintage baby rattle with a note attached that said, "I'm pregnant," put it under the tree, and gave it to him as one of his Christmas presents. We have spoken about possibly getting engaged in 2026, and we have talked about both wanting kids before he turns 30. We have been together for almost 5 years since we met in university, and we live together. I genuinely never thought there could be any reason why my pregnancy would be a negative thing. Christmas came, everything was perfect, and I saved the rattle for the final present. He opened it, read the note, and then dropped the rattle. He turned to me, glared, and started shouting, asking how I could do this to him, saying that I had forced him into having a child. He grabbed his coat and stormed out. We have not spoken since. I have messaged him, and I can see that he has read everything, but he has not responded. I later found out from his sister that he is at her house, spending Christmas with them. He has not told her or anyone else about the pregnancy, as far as I can tell. She thought he had just shown up as a surprise. I honestly do not know what to do. I am now worried that maybe this was not the right way to tell him, and that I should have brought it up more gently in a conversation or something like that. No one else knows about the pregnancy, as I'm only 6 weeks along. So, am I the asshole for announcing it on Christmas? Edit. I forgot to say that it was just the two of us at home for Christmas. Edit 2. I have been reading everyone's responses, and I am overwhelmed. I agree with a lot of you. I am going to go to my partner's sister's house to talk, but I think I will be leaving this relationship. Clearly, I was too gullible. I am also thinking very hard about this pregnancy. I do not know what to do right now because my head is a mess, but I have some big decisions to make. Comments. Commenter 1. It is not the Christmas. He is not happy that you are pregnant. Time for some hard decisions. Commenter 2. It's wild to me that her takeaway is that she should have announced it differently. Girl, wake up. His issue is not Christmas. It's the baby. Commenter 3. A 28-year-old who has said he wants kids before 30, talked marriage with his girlfriend of 5 years, then turns around and gets angry when she tells him she's pregnant, has a hissy fit, storms off to his sister's house, and ghosts her? Yeah, the red flags are waving. And I suspect this guy is not really a prize. Why are you more concerned about whether you told him the right way, instead of being concerned that his response was to yell at you, blame you for trapping him, storm out, and give you the silent treatment? That's emotional abuse. Story 2. My girlfriend smells, and I do not know what to do. We have been together for 5 years, and until last week, she never had a hygiene problem significant enough for me to comment on. Then, out of nowhere, I got smacked in the face by a horrible, rotten smell when she hugged me. At first, I didn't even think it was her. I honestly thought I might have forgotten to wash my hands after using the bathroom or something, so I cleaned up. Later, we went grocery shopping, and I caught the same smell again. That's when I realized it was coming from her. I could smell it from about 3 feet away. It was absolutely rank. I had to tell her. Some people might say I'm a jerk for that, but I would want someone to tell me if I smelled like something died. I told her in the nicest way possible, and she actually took it well. She showered, brushed her teeth, everything. It didn't help. The thing is, this doesn't seem like a hygiene issue. She showers every day and has a routine.
This is not external dirtiness. It feels like it's coming from inside her. When she sweats even a little, when we're in bed, or when she gets home from work after being on her feet all day, I get hit with these offensive waves that smell like literal diarrhea. I'm not trying to be mean. The smell is so putrid and repulsive that it makes me wince and want to puke. The worst part is that her breath smells the same, even after brushing her teeth. That makes me think it's health-related. I don't know what condition causes this, but what else could it be? It came out of nowhere and has been going on for almost 2 weeks straight. What worries me most is that she doesn't even seem to notice it. I'm certain her coworkers and friends do. I'm finding myself avoiding being close to her, and I don't want to make her feel bad. What do I do? Does she need to see a doctor? First update. I broke it to her more seriously and put some pressure on the situation. She took it pretty well. She now has an appointment with a primary care doctor this coming Monday, and we are scheduling a dentist appointment the same week. Wish us luck. Comments. Commenter 1. This doesn't sound like hygiene at all. Sudden, strong body odor and bad breath that smell rotten or fecal can absolutely be medical. GI issues, infections, dental problems, sinus issues, medications, there are many possibilities. The fact that it showed up suddenly and has not gone away is the biggest red flag. You were not wrong to tell her, and most people can't smell themselves. Encouraging her to see a doctor and framing it as concern is the right move. Commenter 2. Doctor time. Could even be tonsils. Probably a bad tooth. Commenter 3. I worked with a guy whose breath smelled like pure death. He knew it and couldn't fix it until he could afford dental care. I was so happy for him when he finally got treatment. Commenter 4. Primary care provider. I once had a patient whose breath was so bad she was in tears. Dentists pulled multiple teeth and it didn't help. I sent her to ENT and GI. Turns out she had Zenker's diverticulum, little pouches in the esophagus where food rots. Surgery fixed it completely. Reply from original poster. That's wild. I was just diagnosed with diverticulitis last week. If this is something similar to her esophagus, I'll be shocked.
Story 3. Am I the jerk for telling my nephew's girlfriend that's not how wills work? My oldest nephew has been with his girlfriend since they were 15. They are both 20 now. My grandmother recently passed away. During the reading of her will, my nephew's girlfriend seemed to believe she would be included. When it became clear that she was not left anything, she looked completely shocked, even though she and my grandmother had only met on several occasions. None of my other nephew's girlfriends were left anything either, and they were fine with it. They understood they were not family yet. Only family members and a few select friends of my grandmother were included in the will. Things became more uncomfortable when it was revealed that each great-grandchild will inherit a specific sum of money from the family bank the day after they are married. The exact amount will only be known by the family accountant. During the luncheon after the celebration of life, I could clearly see my nephew's girlfriend trying to pressure him into asking her to marry him. He told her that he could not get an engagement ring yet. Later, while we were both in the restroom, I approached her and said, "What you were trying to pull, I saw from my table, and do not think you were not heard. That is not how wills work. I know you two love each other, but focus on your education, and when he is ready, he will have an engagement ring." She responded by saying she did not know what I was talking about. When we returned to my brother's house, my nephew pulled me aside and told me that I did not need to talk to her about her behavior because he already had it under control. So, am I the jerk for telling her to watch how she behaved during a will reading? Update. I spoke with my nephew, and he told me that he had talked with his girlfriend.
Apparently, she only felt the way she did because over the years they have been dating, she began learning from my grandmother how to become a nurse. She felt a little left out because my grandmother had told her she would be a great addition to the family one day. She was also just naturally curious about what the inheritance would be. For those asking, family bank simply refers to where the family money is kept. For those confused about why the girlfriends were present, think of it this way. When you support someone you love, you stand by them emotionally. A death in the family is an emotional time, especially when it is the loss of the last generation before you. And to everyone calling my posts AI-generated, bots, fake, and so on, please stop being rude. This is a new account. Also, I know will readings are considered old-fashioned, but my grandmother lived by traditional values and wanted to ensure those beliefs did not die with her. Having her will read was her choice. Comments. Commenter 1. In what kind of world would a girlfriend of a nephew get anything from a will? That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. Maybe she wants a ring because they've been together so long, who knows? But if she was truly upset about being left out of a will after only meeting the grandmother a few times, that is insane. If that is the truth, he needs to end the relationship immediately. Exactly. Not even the nephew is guaranteed anything. No one is.
Commenter 3.
No, you are not the jerk. This needed to be said. The boyfriend clearly did not have a good handle on it since he did not firmly shut it down. Trying to push a proposal during a grandmother's celebration of life just to get access to inheritance money is a textbook example of a gold digger. If I were him, I probably would have ended the relationship right there. Story 4. My husband is leaving me for a younger woman, and all I can think about is the house decor. I am a 34-year-old woman. I have been married to my husband, who is 41, for 7 years, and we've been together for 10. I love my husband, and I always believed he loved me the same way. We built a life together. 8 years ago, he suffered from severe anxiety and insomnia. I would stay awake with him, holding his hands and guiding him through breathing exercises until he could finally sleep. I went to work exhausted. I helped him find a therapist. I encouraged him to grow in his career, even when he was afraid. 6 years ago, I quit my job to take care of my mother while she was battling cancer because he had more earning potential than I did. While I was job hunting again, I became pregnant. He suggested I stay home to take care of him and our daughter, so I did. I cared for him. I loved him. In December, he received a promotion, which meant longer hours. I gave birth to our daughter in March. I went through a phase where I felt horrible, fat, ugly, and alone, stuck at home with a newborn. He barely talked to me. He always said he was tired and that I wouldn't understand what he was dealing with. If it hadn't been for my mom staying on video calls with me, I think I would have felt completely abandoned. I started suggesting couples therapy in June. He kept telling me everything was fine. Now I feel like nothing more than a mother. I used to read, study, and be interesting. I used to talk about politics, music, books, and art. I wasn't sexually frustrated or insecure back then. I decorated our house myself using my own savings. It's everything I ever dreamed of. The colors, the furniture, the kitchen. It took me years to make it exactly how I want it. I have the garden I always dreamed of, a vegetable patch I adore, and a hanging chair where I sit with my baby. Last week, he came home later than usual. I was genuinely happy to see him. I was in the living room playing with our daughters. He asked our older daughter to go to her room. He seemed like he had been drinking. Then he said, "I love you so much, but I don't want to be with you anymore." He told me that I was not the person he fell in love with anymore. Then he admitted he was in love with a woman from work, someone he said was everything he had ever dreamed of, and that he needed to give himself the chance to live that love without guilt. Yes, he cheated on me with a 22-year-old. When I finally managed to speak, the only thing I said was, "But what about my house decor?" At some point, I picked up my baby and started shouting, saying things like, "I put time into this house. I did everything it needed. This house is mine." We argued because he claimed I didn't value his suffering enough. I don't know why I kept talking about the house. Maybe because it's the only thing that still feels like mine. I guess I'm disposable. I'm 34 years old. I have a 4-month-old baby and a 4-year-old daughter. I don't have a job. I'm going to lose my dream home. I feel ugly. I feel fat. And he told me he is no longer attracted to me because I gained too much weight during pregnancy. Edit. Today, I'm going to talk with his mother and his brother about the divorce. I'm starting with them because they're close to me. His brother went through a divorce after infidelity last year, and his mother is very attached to me. I was there for her during the worst time of her life. I also texted my mom, and she's coming to stay with me and the girls. I hope her visa is approved. My dad, who is American, will be coming to my state in 2 weeks. Edit 2. I spoke with his brother about the affair and about him leaving. He told me to find a lawyer, just like many of you said. We're speaking to a few lawyers today. I accepted the help because I have the girls with me, and doing everything alone is overwhelming. Comments. Commenter 1. I'm so sorry this happened to you. If you want the house, you'll need to fight for it in the divorce. If your husband has even a shred of decency, he should leave it to you and your daughters so the children are not uprooted. That affair will be the most expensive thing he ever did. Get evidence and build your case. Reply from OP. I'm looking online for lawyers, but I don't know what I'm looking for. Commenter 2. You need a family law attorney in your area. Why should you move? Are you in the United States? You don't work, he does, and you're the primary caregiver. Did someone tell him sleeping with a 22-year-old was free? It was not. Reply from OP. I don't want to move. I've lived in the US for 16 years, but I'm originally from South America. I'm here legally, but I'm scared. Commenter 3. So you wouldn't miss him? Just the house? Reply from OP. I'm going to miss him so much. I love him, and I gave so much of myself to him. It hurts more than I can explain. I think about how much time I dedicated to all of this. He wanted a second daughter, and she is here at 4 months while he's sleeping with someone new. I'm in pain, and I'm angry, so angry.
Update. Hi, I am writing this because I feel pathetic and tired. I just want to skip ahead to the point where this phase of my life is over. Here is a brief summary of what happened this week, and I honestly cannot believe I ever loved this man. My brother-in-law is staying at my house until my family arrives, and my best friend comes to visit me every day. On Monday, my brother-in-law asked my ex to leave the house, and strangely enough, he actually listened to his brother. Since then, he has only been tormenting me through messages. He keeps saying he wants an amicable divorce while constantly making proposals that only benefit him. I have been trying to stick to a routine because I have 2 children and they need stability. Apparently, I am the only one willing to provide that. Yesterday, he texted me saying he wanted to see the kids, and I agreed. He showed up after they were already asleep. I honestly thought he was not going to come at all. He arrived at 11 p.m. with a document and wanted to talk about how he planned to keep the house and pay me an additional amount for my share. I just stared at him without saying anything. I told him to leave because the kids were sleeping. My brother-in-law added that it was not the right time or place to discuss this and also asked him to leave. I do not know what happened to him, but this does not feel like the man I married. He started yelling at my brother-in-law, accusing him of betraying him, saying he wanted to play house because his own marriage didn't work out. Then he yelled at me, calling me a lazy whore who was not going to take his money. He said the house was his and claimed that his 22-year-old girlfriend, Anne, told him that I was going to try to keep the house he bought. We did not respond. I only told him that he needed to leave because he was getting messy. Then he left. I do not understand why he wants the house when he can easily afford to buy another one. I also don't understand how the person I married could try to trick me just to come out ahead in the divorce. I keep asking myself if this is the man I married. He wants me gone. He wants the kids gone. He did not ask about the girls. He did not see them. He didn't even ask to give them a goodnight kiss. To him and to Anne, we are just an obstacle.
Nothing more. I'm not even a person. Comments. Commenter 1. The 22-year-old wants the house. Reply from OP. For sure, but she will not even come close. What makes me angriest is how long it took me to get the house to look the way it does today, and now some girl comes along and he just assumes I'm going to give my house to them. Commenter 2. Did he buy the house before you were married, or did you buy it together after marriage? If he owned the house before the marriage, there's not much you can do and he will likely get it. If not, then you will probably get the house in the divorce since it's the children's home. I strongly suggest keeping all communication in text messages so you have evidence. Keep a notebook too. Write down everything he says, does, or does not do regarding the kids. If he says he will visit and does not, write it down. This will help you with custody. Reply from OP. I paid part of the down payment. He pays the mortgage, but I have invested around 15% of the home's value in renovations and decoration. Commenter 3. I am so proud of you for standing your ground and protecting yourself and the kids. I think your brother-in-law has always known who his brother really is, and that is why he is helping you. He sounds like a decent person, and I'm glad you have someone in your corner while you wait for your family to arrive. At least you have your 2 babies, and you won't have to worry about custody. Please consider therapy when you can, so you have someone to process all of this with. Reply from OP. Honestly, he and my best friend are the best. After 4 months, I finally have time to rest and get help with my baby. Do you know how good it feels to take a 40 to 50-minute shower just to relax? I had been alone for so long that I thought doing everything by myself was normal. Story 5. Am I the asshole for not changing my language to appease an ignorant coworker? I am a 34-year-old man working in an office in a technical field with around 30 coworkers and managers. The issue is one coworker, Sarah, who is 28. The issue started before Christmas. I went into the break room to answer a call from family overseas. We spoke in my native language for 10 minutes, talking about family and friends back home. As we were wrapping up the call, I hung up and noticed Sarah staring at me with an angry expression. I asked her what was wrong, and she accused me of being racist. I was completely confused. She then claimed that I had said the N-word, which confused me even more. She stormed off, and a few minutes later, the HR director came to my desk and took me to her office. After a very confusing conversation, I finally figured out what had happened. One of the ways we say you in my native language sounds similar to the N-word. Barely, but apparently close enough. I explained this to the HR director, who was skeptical at first. After some Googling on my phone, I showed her proof, and she admitted that I was not racist, just fluent in another language. Then the HR director asked if there was any way I could avoid taking personal calls at work. I said sure, as long as it became a rule that no one could take personal calls. She hesitated and tried to frame it so only I would be restricted. I kept gently pointing out how discriminatory that sounded until she asked if there was any way I could avoid using that word in my native language. I explained that it would technically be possible, but it would make my sentences awkward, overly formal, and clunky. I said I would rather not. She suggested that if it was possible, maybe I should. I responded by asking if she would be willing to stop using her New England accent. She thanked me for clearing up the misunderstanding and sent me back to work. Before the holiday break, HR sent out an email stating there had been a misunderstanding involving a foreign language and reminding everyone to respect different cultures. It was vague, open-ended, and solved nothing. My family rarely calls me at work anyway because it's nighttime for them when I'm working. They usually only call on holidays or my birthday, so this is unlikely to happen again. Still, I do not want to twist my language just to avoid saying the word you. I told this story to my friends at a Christmas party, and one of them asked whether this was really a hill worth dying on. So, am I the asshole for not compromising with HR? Commenters. Commenter 1. Not the asshole. Tell them they will stop using the word you in their native language if everyone else stops using the word you in theirs. That should make it clear how ridiculous the idea is. Commenter 2. This is absolutely a hill worth dying on. A word in my language sounds somewhat similar to a slur in your language, so I am forbidden from normal conversation? That's absurd. Insist that any HR policy applied to you must apply equally to everyone. You did not violate any policy, and HR confirmed that. Trying to enforce anything afterward implies you did something wrong, which you did not. Commenter 3. Not the asshole. You have the right to speak whatever language you want during your break time. Once the misunderstanding was explained, that should have been the end of it.
And that's where this story ends. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Reddit Guy.